You just need a ball. We're gonna go for about 25 minutes, all focusing on all things, of course, core. Cool? This is going to focus on, yes, core, yes, pelvic floor, but also ideal for postpartum. Anywhere from 6+ weeks postpartum, ideally cleared to exercise, or at least feeling ready physically and emotionally to start exercising again. And a big emphasis on bringing things back together. So reconnecting mind and muscle, but also reconnecting through that front line. So where we get the most stretching along through diastasis recti, along that linea alba, we're going to bring everything along that middle line back in and together. So go ahead and take that ball with you. We're going to start on all fours, and you're going to bring that ball right in between your thighs. And while you're here on all fours, hands and knees, make your shoulders right over your wrists. Spread those fingers nice and wide. Press into the knuckles, hips over knees. Big inhale through the nose. And as you inhale, feel the ribs expand out from side to side. Exhale, lift through the pelvic floor, engage through those low abs. Feel the ribs pulling down and in together. Again, inhale. Feel that expansion as if you're inflating a balloon. Exhale, lift through that pelvic floor, engaging through the low abs, pushing the floor away as you press the air out. Last one, just like this, big inhale through the nose. Exhale, feel those abs zipping up and in like you're zipping up a pair of pants. Now, keeping the core activated right here, you're going to flex the toes. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, hover those knees 1 inch up off the floor. Squeezing against that ball, tap those knees down for 4, 3, pulling up and in through the midline, 2, and 1. Send those hips up into a down dog, drop the heels. We're gonna lower down again, 4 pulses, down in that bear hover, 1 lift into a down dog. Let's see it. It's 4, 3, 2, send the hips up, down dog, drop the heels, press your chest towards the tops of your thighs. Lower back down, tap those knees, 4, 3, 2, send those hips up and long right here, dropping those heels down. Get that nice stretch along the back line. Lower back down for our last set here. 4 pulses. Down 4, down 3, down 2, abs up and in. Last one. Send those hips up into that down dog stretch and release. Lower down onto those knees. Go ahead and send those hips back into a child's pose. Reach the arms long. Keep the ball right where it is. We're going to keep going through these bear hovers, but now we add on with some oblique love. Tuck the tailbone under, rise back up. So still pressing that floor up and away. Now, if you notice any tension develop in those wrists, think about spiraling the eyes of your elbows over your fingertips. That's going to help take the tension out of those wrists. And then think about pressing the floor away even more. It seems counterintuitive, but that press is going to help engage the shoulders to take, again, that weight out of the wrists. Flex those toes, inhale through the nose. Exhale, hover it up. So knees are just hovering about 1 inch up off the floor. You're adding a light squeeze on that ball, and now you dip your hips to the right, peel back to center, dip them over to the left, and back to center. Feeling the activation through that corset muscle. Zipping it up, tightening through the obliques, the middle, and the other side. Keep pressing that floor up and away as you rotate your hips right, center, left, center. Last 2, right, center, left, center. Final 1. Keep those hips hovering here. And lower back down through center. Send those hips back into a child's pose stretch, reaching the arms long. Woo! I know we said core, but we got a little bit of upper body and maybe a little bit of quad love in there too. Tuck the tailbone under, rise it all the way back up. We're going to drop down onto our forearms for this next set. The ball stays just conveniently sandwiched between those thighs. Inhale through the nose, flex those toes. Exhale, hover the knees. Now you're just squeezing in on that ball. Squeezing those thighs together, just squeeze, squeeze. Hugging up and in through those low abs. Feel the inner thighs turning on here. You have 5, 4, press the floor apart, her away through those shoulder blades. 3, 2, 1, hold the squeeze, lower the knees, sit back into a child's pose, reach. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, rise it all the way up. You're gonna remove that ball. We're gonna move into some side plank action here. We're going right into the fun stuff, you guys. This is all the fun stuff. All of it's fun, let's be honest. Take the ball, in the top hand. Lower down onto your side. So that bottom forearm, bottom elbow right underneath the shoulder here. Knees are stacked in line, knees, hips, elbow. Send that top leg long for some extra stability here. Inhale through the nose, exhale. Press those hips up and away from the floor, rising that ball up like a little Statue of Liberty here. New York, that's for you. Zip up through those inner thighs, feel those low abs connect. Think about squeezing through your seat to press the hips forward. That way we don't sink back into the wall behind us. And now we're gonna lower those hips 1 inch. Exhale, lift, squeeze. Lifting the bottom oblique up and away from the floor. Lower, lift, squeeze. Lower, lift, squeeze. Abs up and in. We have 3. We have 2. Chin is off the chest. You're looking straight ahead. Last one. Hold it all the way up. Now thread that needle. Pull the ball between the forearm and the knee and rise back up. Pull that ball between. Threading the needle right here. Finding that stability. Ooh! Keeping that oblique engaged to lift those hips just 1 inch higher. Pull down and through. Last 2. We got this. Last one. Whoo! Last one, best one. Hold it all the way up right here. Float that top leg up. Press that bottom oblique up and away from the floor. Just 4, 3, 2, and release. Lower it all the way down. Ooh! Oh, baby. That was all sorts of fun in all the best ways. You're gonna stay down here as you lower that bottom arm. Let your head rest in your hand. Pressing into that ball. Think about hollowing out through your core. Tuck your tailbone under slightly and think about pulling that top hip away. That's gonna create that tiny pocket of air between your bottom oblique and the floor. From here, float that top leg up into a separated clamshell and then internally rotate, tap your knees. Lift back up to parallel, shins parallel. Internally rotate, tap your knees. Lift up, shins parallel. The stability and stillness in the pelvis is coming from your abs. So even though this is going to turn into a glute exercise, your abs are still engaged. Whew. Make sure we're feeling that connection all the way through. Just internally rotating here, tap the knees and lift. Final one, keep those shins parallel, legs are apart. And now you lower all the way down, lift and press all the way up. The hips shouldn't rock from side to side or back and forth. They're staying stable thanks to the work of the core. Lift. And if your wrist starts to feel funky or your neck starts to feel wonky in this position, you can let that bottom arm reach long and let your head rest in the bicep. Squeeze and lift. Last 2. Last one. Lowered all the way down. Now peel both ankles up off the floor so your feet are glued together. Elevated Sam shells. Lift that top leg up and down. Exhale, squeeze and lower. Up for 3. Down, up for 2. Down, last one, hold it up there. Little pulses, down 1 inch and up. Lift, squeeze and lower. Squeeze and lower. Just 4, 3, heels glued together. 2, ooh. Last one, hold it all the way up and open. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Lower that top leg all the way down and lower. From right here, you're gonna send your feet long towards the diagonal, front diagonal of your mat. So the back of your spine lines up with the back of the mat. Feet come towards that front corner of the mat. Pull the top hip away, float that top leg up about a foot. Internally rotate, tap those toes together. Lift back up to parallel. Externally rotate, tap your heels together. So you're drawing a rainbow with that top leg. And you're feeling that femur just moving around in that hip socket. Nice and controlled right here. Abs up and in, ribs drawing down. And I caught myself looking down at my toes, which very questionably need a pedicure. And if you're doing that at home, just take your chin off your chest, look straight ahead. Ooh, that side seat though. Last 2. And last one, lower that top leg all the way down. Bend your knees in. Send that top leg straight out long for side leg lifts right here. Just lift and lower. Again, as we move into a side leg lift, it's slow and controlled. It's up about 10 inches, down about 10 inches. And while you're doing this, you're keeping that slight tuck through the tailbone so that you don't spill forward through those hips or flare out through the ribs. Squeeze to lift. Feeling that energy all the way along this side body. Up and down for 3, 2, and 1. Hold the leg long, point the toes, little circles back, squeezing into the seat. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze for 3, 2, and last one. Bend that knee in, lower it all the way down. Woo! Some love onto that side seat. Love her, mean it. Okay, we're gonna roll right over onto our other side because we can. I'm gonna stay facing you. Just bring it on around town. We're starting with our favorite, everybody's favorite, a side plank. Nobody's favorite, but today it's all of our favorites, right? So bottom forearm down, elbow directly underneath the shoulder, top leg extends long, big inhale. Exhale, find that nice long spine, Statue of Liberty with that ball. Reach the ball up tall and then lower the hips 1 inch down. Exhale, squeeze 1 inch up. Lower, lift, squeeze. Imagine you are sandwiched between 2 panes of glass to make sure those hips don't sink back towards the wall behind you. Lift and squeeze. That bottom oblique is feeling some fire. 2 more. Lift and press. Last one, hold it up. We thread that needle. Pull the ball between the forearm and the bottom knee. Rotate, reach back up and open. Good. Lower down, pull through. Reach back up and open. Ooh. We are feeling all the love across that oblique, the one closest to the floor. And reach. Last 2, pull down and through. Lift. Last 1, pull down and through. Hold it all the way up. Float that top leg up. Let's find that final hold right here. Just hold it. Just hold it for 4, 3, 2, and finally release. Lower it all the way down. Ooh. Oh gosh, we love a side plank. Said no one ever. Lower down onto that forearm. You're gonna press into that ball. Hug your heels in towards your seat. We're gonna get right into it here. You're gonna lift up into that clamshell and all the way up and open where the shins come parallel. So shins are parallel, internally rotate, tap the knees together, and lift back up. Internally rotate, lift back up to parallel. Finding that motion in the hips. Making sure that that bottom waist is pulling up and away from the floor to engage your entire abdominal wall here. Internally rotate, press up and away. If your head is in your hand and you're feeling your neck pull down towards your thighs, just send that bottom arm long. Let your head just hang out in that bicep. And rotate down, lift. Rotate down, lift it apart. Ooh, we love these ones. They are just all sorts of yummy right here. Good, you're gonna hold that leg up in 3, down and up in 2. Good, last one, hold it all the way up and full range of motion right here. Lower that top leg down, lift and squeeze. Lower down, lift and squeeze. Shins are parallel with each other for these separated Sam shells. And I'll invite you to even close your eyes here if your baby will let you and feel that focus. Feel that mind-muscle connection building on the outside of that glute. So that side seat is feeling all this love here as you peel that top leg up and down. Last 2, up and down. Woo! Here's our last one. Here we go. Here we go. Lower that leg all the way down. Ooh, that booty though. Peel both ankles away from the floor and lift up into this elevated clamshell. Lower the top leg down, lift and squeeze. Lower the top leg down, lift and squeeze. So again, those hips are not rocking forward and back. They're staying nice and still to make sure that we feel this working through that side seat into that glute. Squeeze to lift. Can we get those feet just 1 inch higher? Can you peel that top leg 1 inch closer towards the ceiling as we open up into this clamshell? Lift and lower here for 3. Lift and lower 2. Hold it up at the top, down an inch and up, small pulses, down an inch and up. Ooh, ooh, we found it. Watch what's happening in the core. Make sure those abs are pulling up and in at the same time and that the hips are not spilling forward. We have 4, 3, 2, that booty now. Hold it up, hold it up, hold it up. And finally release, lower it all the way down. Oh man, that was cute. That was cute. Line the back spine up along the back line of the mat. Send both feet forward at that front diagonal, front corner of the mat. Legs are straight, hollow out the core. So think about pulling that top hip away. That's going to create that little pocket of air between the bottom oblique and the floor. Float the top leg up, internally rotate, tap your toes. Lift up, externally rotate, tap your heels. And you're drawing a rainbow here with that top leg. Just squeezing. Up and down, tap. Up and down, tap. Finding that internal and external rotation into the hips. Using your core to make sure the legs are not moving here, or that the hips are not moving. The legs are obviously moving. Good thing you knew what I meant. Oh, those brain cells, the blood flow that's supposed to be going to my brain right now is going just into my top tush, so that's always fun. Last one right here. Internally rotate, lift up, externally rotate, and lower it all the way down. Just some side leg lifts. Float that top leg up and down. Now, if you want to have that option for a little more stability, you can bend that bottom knee down as you float the top leg up and down. Wherever feels most comfortable while maintaining the most form, or most importantly form. So again, when we're side lying here, this is the one position where we tend to flare through those ribs, spill into those hips. Think about pulling, almost tucking those hips under, pulling the ribs down at the same time. That's going to create that zip up effect, engaging the entire core as we float the legs up and down in this side leg lift. Up and down for 3, up and down for 2. Last one, and release. Lower that top leg all the way down. Bend those knees. Some love onto that side seat. That was special. We're going to come onto our backs next. Finally, onto our backs. Take that beloved ball with you. Come onto your back right here. And you're going to bring that ball right between your thighs. We're just going to practice some pelvic tilts here. So the back is flat. Head is heavy on the floor, toes are pointed straight ahead. Inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, squeeze in on the ball, tuck the pelvis under. Inhale, release. Exhale, squeeze, tuck. Inhale, release. And as you exhale, squeeze, and tuck, you should feel your low abs compressing down, not bulging up. So that's the key piece that we're looking for here, is that we feel that low ab connection as we squeeze through those inner thighs. Last 2, squeeze and tuck. Trying not to keep those glutes engaged with that tuck, so the hips are still on the floor. Hold the squeeze right here, and now you just pelvic tilt. Tuck under, and inhale, like finding a soft arch in the low back. Exhale, pelvic tuck, so you feel your pubic bone drawing up towards your navel, and release. Should feel like you're trying to smush a tiny little blueberry between your low back and the floor. Inner thighs are still feeling this the whole way through. Last 2. Last 1. Find that neutral position right here. Point your toes. You're going to hover both legs up into a tabletop position. Bring the left up first. The right leg comes up to meet it. Now I want you to feel along the abdominal wall. Notice if there's any bulging or coning happening here. You can even do your own diastasis check, running your finger lines vertically along the middle of your abs, seeing if you notice any depth and also any width along that middle line. And if you do notice that, or you see any coning happening, see if we can flatten out that coning and bulging by using our breath, exhaling and pulling those abs even closer and tighter in and together. Now, if you're doing that and you still cannot get rid of the coning or the bulging, I'll invite you to bring your feet back down flat onto the floor. That's your option if we're still seeing that coning and bulging and we cannot get rid of it using that breath. So that is your option right here. And you would be marching. If our legs are in tabletop, we feel the abs compressing down. We toe tap. Alternate slow and controlled. The left leg taps down, lifts back up. Right leg taps down and lifts. Remove any tension from the neck and jaw. I'm a touchy-feely person, but also the physical touch helps connect mind and muscle. It helps signal to the brain, hey, these are the muscles I want to be firing in this exercise. So think about pressing that tiny blueberry into the mat between your low back and the floor. That's going to help make sure those hips are not rocking. And we're just tapping down and rising back up. We have 3 more. Low abs still engaged this whole time. Last 2, slow and controlled. Ooh, we are feeling the spice. I am starting to shake. And Last one, best one right here. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a big hug, little rock and roll from side to side. Ooh, we found some love with that one. We are going to move that ball and bring it beneath our upper back. So remove the ball, roll onto your side, bring it just between your shoulder blades, come up onto your back here. Plant those feet, bring your hands behind your head, interlace those fingers, thumbs point down your neck. Big inhale as you arch up and over that ball. This should feel like a really delicious chest opener. Breathing into this, we spend so much of the day curling over our adorable babies. This stretch just feels yummy. Then from here, plant through that tailbone back of the pelvis. Big inhale through the nose. And exhale, lift through the upper abs, pulling those ribs down. And while you're lifted up here, notice that you should feel those ribs pulling in and together and down, and at the same time, pelvic floor is lifting up to meet it. Abs are tight, pulling in and constricting right in there, continuing to breathe. You're gonna add on with these toe taps, holding this upper body curl. So point your toes. Find that balance, challenging the stability, and now float the right leg up to a 90-degree angle, tap it down. Other leg up, tap it down. The trick here is that these moves are really slow and controlled. Ooh, I'm already starting to shake with these. Pull those abs down and in. If you're like, nah, this is still too easy, it probably means we're doing it wrong. So again, I challenge you to find that focus. Abs pulling down and in. You have 3. Lift and lower. Beautiful. 2. Continuing to breathe. Abs drawing down. Chin off the chest. Here is our last one. I am so shaking right there with you. Lower that leg. Drop the heels. Big stretch up and over that ball. Thank you. Roll over onto your side. Remove that ball. Press yourself up into seated. We're going to take that ball underneath the low back, just behind the back of the pelvis and the floor. Hug your heels in towards your seat. Toes are pointed straight ahead, feet hip distance. Take a light grab on behind those thighs, and we're going to find that tuck under, engaging those low abs with this pelvic tuck under, and lift. Exhale as you pull away, noticing those abs flattening, and rise up. All in the core here, and lift. Shoulders down and away from the ears, lower and lift. Feel the abs flatten out with this one. We want to find that flattening sensation. We're going to add on a little more spice. You're going to lift yourself all the way up. Bring your arms up by your ears. Lower away and lift. And as you lower now, you add that rotation and lift up through center. Lower, add that rotation. Lift up through center. Shoulders are down and away from those ears. My abs are shaking. Rotate, reach up. Last 2, rotate, reach up. Last 1, rotate and lift. Reach those fingertips straight towards the wall in front of you. If your hip flexor is turned on here, press through the ball of the foot and the big toe. That should help take the energy away from the hip flexors and bring the focus back into those low abs. And then grab onto those knees, curl yourself up. Woo! All right, the abs are feeling the love. Last set, best set. Lower it all the way down onto your side and then flat onto your back. Okay, we're gonna find some love here into the glutes, adding some challenge with the balance and stability, a glute bridge, paired with some marching and single leg movements. So toes are pointed straight ahead, squeezed on the ball. Squeeze your seat like you're pinching a $100 bill right between those sweet cheeks. Tuck the tailbone under and roll it up into a glute bridge. Check those ribs. We want them in line, stacked in line with the hips. Now press into the right foot as you extend the left leg long. Plant the left foot. And if you are thinking there's no way I can do this move, you are lying to yourself. I have had so many moms see this move and think, no, there's no way I can do it. And yes, they absolutely can. Sometimes it just takes a little mind-muscle connection, figuring out where our body is in space to find it. But I promise that over time, all of these moves become easier as we get stronger. Continuing to breathe. We slowly extend one leg and lower it down. We're not racing through this final set. And every time we alternate through these leg extensions, we're challenging those low abs a little bit more. and plant the foot. Last one on that left side, lower the foot. Keep those hips up high by squeezing into the seat. I felt mine start to drop. Keep those hips up high. Now we add a pulse in on that ball. Squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold the squeeze on the ball. Pulse the hips up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hold the hips up. One pulse, one squeeze. One pulse down, one squeeze in. Pulse and squeeze. 5, squeeze, pulse. 4, squeeze, pulse. 3, 2. Last one, hold the squeeze. Hold those hips up as high as they get. Pressing through your big toe, pinky toe, and heel. Keep those hips lifted. Abs zipping up and in. Lift, lift, lift. Squeezing through your seat for 4, 3, 2, and uncurl your spine one vertebra at a time, releasing that pelvis flat on the floor. Oh, letting that ball go. You can throw that thing to the side. Grab your knees, hug them in towards your chest. Give yourself a big hug with a little rock and roll from side to side. And rock all the way over onto your side. Press yourself all the way up to seated. My goodness, that was special. Come into a 90-90 sit to open and release those hips. Bring those arms all the way up and over for this big windmill. And same arm as the front leg is going to reach up and over. Look up towards the eye of the elbow. Lengthening through your spine here. And lift back up. Bring those legs all the way around into the other side. Windmill those arms again on this side. Big reach. Big reach. Same arm as the front leg is going to reach up and over, looking up towards the eye of that elbow, lengthening down your side body here. And lift all the way up. Cross those ankles, a little crisscross applesauce action right here. Oh, well, a little abs, a little buns, a little bit of everything right there. So bring those arms forward and back, releasing any tension that might have crept up into the neck and jaw, letting that all just melt away. And finally, wrap those arms all the way around, giving yourselves a great big hug. We did it. Nice work. I will see you next time.